So, Caitlin Clark just broke a huge record. A huge record. And this is probably unbeatable. It's probably unbeatable. Like there's a lot of Caitlin Clark records that I'm like, okay, like this can be beaten. I don't know if this one can be beaten. To do it in 59 games. That's not hype. That's someone doing the math out loud and arriving at a conclusion they almost don't want to say. Caitlin Clark just set a record, and the claim on the table is simple. Nobody is ever beating it. Not soon, maybe not ever. So let's actually test that. The fact is that fastest to 500 assists obviously is Caitlin Clark. But like when you do something 23 games faster, and she was injured. If she didn't get injured last year, like before her second injury, she was averaging 23 and 9 on the season, and she was averaging the same numbers she is right now. Here's the record in question. Fastest in WNBA history to 500 career assists. Music, and the gap isn't a game or two. The point being made is that Clark hit the mark something like 23 games faster than the previous holder, and she did it while losing time to injury. That second part is what reframes everything. A pace record set by a player who missed stretches of the season isn't a ceiling. Music, it's a floor. Like I think there's going to be faster people to 1,000 points. I don't know if there'll ever be someone in the WNBA faster to 1,000 assists. I don't know if there ever will be. But that player is not coming anytime soon. Like we're looking at guards, especially in the era of combo guards. These high guards aren't really a thing. Now watch the logic build. The argument isn't that nobody scores fast. Plenty of players will race to 1,000 points. The claim is narrower and sharper. Assists are different. Racking up assists at this rate requires a very specific kind of guard and a very specific kind of system, and the modern game keeps drifting toward combo guards who hunt their own shot. The pure distributor putting up 9-10 assists a night is becoming rarer, not more common, which means the talent pool that could even threaten this record is shrinking. Like, you're looking 100, 104, 102, 101, 84, 82. And I'm like, this is genuinely scary. I genuinely do think that she is, like statistically, there's never going to be anyone that matches up to. There's never going to be anyone that's able to match up to Caitlin statistically and break this record. I don't think it ever happens. And this is where it stops being a hot take and starts being a structural argument. Look at the assist per game. Numbers stacking up game over game. The point isn't any single line, it's the relentlessness of it. To break a record set at this pace, a challenger has to match it across an entire career every season without the dips that injuries and bad fits normally cause. Statistically, sustaining that is the hard part. Anyone can have a great month. Almost nobody strings great months into a whole career without interruption. Because the game, there's talk of moving the NBA game, of like bringing the NBA game down to 40 minutes. There's never going to be a situation where the WNBA game gets brought up to 48. Like it would take a WNBA game being brought up in minutes for this record to be broken. Like nobody's coming in, and like Caitlin had the best individual rookie season. So why is this one genuinely close to untouchable? It comes down to the clock. The WNBA plays 40-minute games. There's no realistic path to the league extending to 48 minutes just to give future guards more runway. Fewer minutes means fewer possessions, which means fewer chances to pile up assists per game. The math is capped by the structure of the sport itself. You can't outwork a rule. Like nobody's coming in, and like Caitlin had the best individual rookie season of all time. There's been no better statistical rookie season ever. Like Caitlin Clark is putting up numbers that if the season was to end today, like if the Indiana Fever are a top 4 seed and she ends the season with her current numbers, she's winning MVP. Like, I don't think people understand that, like, no matter what the narrative is about, defense, the narrative about anything, she's a better defender than Taurasi ever was. But she's winning MVP. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If the Fever are a 4 seed and she ends the season with these numbers, and the rookie season underneath all of, this is the part people gloss over. The claim being made is that Clark put up the best statistical rookie campaign the league has ever seen, full stop, and that if the Fever finish as a top 4 seed while she holds her current production, the MVP conversation isn't a conversation at all. That's the through line. The assist record isn't a fluke. That happened to a role player. It's one data point in a season that's rewriting the rookie record book entirely. Some of the things that she has said, like Caitlin Clark I think she had 11 assists and a half. Like, I think someone might break the 19 assist record, but like, it's going to be real tough. It's going to be really, really tough. And if we're being honest here, to do that while averaging points a game, and like, so what's going to happen? There is a number 1 pick is going to have to walk onto a team with one of the best pick and roll. It's going to have to be a number 1 pick. Point guard has to walk. But let's be fair to the other side, because the argument actually concedes ground here, and that's what makes it credible. Not every record is safe. The single game and total rookie assist marks, those are reachable. The schedule has expanded. There are more games on the calendar now, and more games means more opportunities to accumulate. A future rookie with enough volume could get there. The honest version of this separates the breakable from the near unbreakable instead of pretending everything Clark touched is sacred. To do that while averaging points a game, and like, so what's going to happen? There is a number 1 pick is going to have to walk onto a team with one of the best pick and roll. It's going to have to be a number 1 pick. Point guard has to walk onto a team with one of the best bigs in the league and one of the best off-ball scorers in the league with a couple of shooters around here. That's basically what's going to happen. That's going to have to happen, otherwise the record's safe. And if I'm being real here, the record's relatively safe. I'm not going to say the record's 1,000% safe or anything. I'll say the record's relatively safe. Like, it's going to take, like, there's not a player alive that's going to break this record. There's not a player alive. There's just not. So what would it actually take? Here's the blueprint laid out. You'd need a number 1 overall pick, a 6 feet 1 inch or 6 feet 2 inches point guard big enough to stay on the floor and absorb minutes that smaller guards lose to matchups. Drop that player onto a team that already has one of the best pick and roll bigs in the league, a high-level off-ball scorer, and shooters spacing the floor. Perfect player, perfect roster on day 1. That's the entire recipe. And the moment you list every condition that has to line up simultaneously, you understand why relatively safe is the cautious phrasing and basically untouchable is the honest one. Like, Olivia Miles is like is done. Like Olivia Miles, even though it's through like 10 games for Olivia Miles. To do it, she's going to have to average 20 and 10 for another whatever. 51 games. I don't know. That's not it's probably. It's probably 19, it's probably. And or 19 and 9. Which Olivia Miles isn't going to do. So, nobody's going to break this anytime soon. Nobody. And now, the one name floated as a maybe is Olivia Miles, and this is worth being precise about. Through a small early sample she's producing. But the bar to chase this record is brutal. You're talking about sustaining roughly points and 9 or 10 assists a night across dozens upon dozens of additional games without a single prolonged slump. Even for a genuine talent, that's not a hot start you ride. That's a career-long demand. A strong opening stretch and a decade-long pace are two completely different things, and the record only cares about the second one. I could be unbreakable. Like if you look at current players, she's what? 2 ahead of Sabrina Ionescu, or 3 ahead of Sabrina Ionescu. Like she's like 2 ahead of Slut. Sabrina very rarely gets 10 assists in a game. It's one of those things where Paige very rarely gets assists in the game. She is one of. She's like a unicorn as far as the WNBA is concerned. She's an absolute unicorn. Like she had 5 straight and 10 games, I think. Oh, sorry, 3 straight and 10 games. She had 5 straight assist double-doubles as a rookie. Like she actually, I think she's 4th all time in rookie double-double streak. And she did it with assists with a triple-double sprinkled in that run. Here's the comparison that puts a frame around just how rare this is. Stack Clark's assist production against the established stars of the position right now, and she isn't trailing them by the standard being described. She's ahead. The veterans who define elite guard play in this league rarely hang 10 assists in a night. Clark was doing it in clusters, double-doubles back-to-back with the occasional triple-double dropped into the run as a rookie. That's not a good guard having a good year. That's a unicorn. And the word fits because there isn't a second one to point to. So let's land the plane on the actual question, because the take is sharper than just cheerleading. The argument has 2 layers. Layer 1, some of Clark's records will fall. The single game assist mark, the rookie totals padded by a longer schedule, the speed to 1,000 points kind of milestones. Those are reachable, and pretending otherwise is fan fiction. Layer 2, the fastest to 500 assist pace set while injured in a 40-minute game by the best statistical rookie the league has produced, sits in a different category. Breaking it doesn't require a great player. It requires a perfect one, landing on a perfect roster, staying healthy for a full career in a sport whose own clock works against the attempt. That's why the honest verdict isn't 1,000% safe. It's relatively safe, and the distance between those 2 phrases is exactly where the real analysis lives. The people screaming it can never be broken are skipping the records that genuinely can be. The people waving it off as just a fast start are ignoring that the pace was set on a shortened, interrupted season. The truth sits in the uncomfortable middle, and the middle still lands on this one, probably outlives every guard currently in the league. So here's where I want you. Forget the noise. Name one realistic player on a realistic roster who breaks the fastest to 500 assists record in the next 10 years. Not a fantasy draft, a real name. If you can't, that tells you everything about where this record actually stands. Drop it in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. And if you want the breakdown of which Clark records actually are catchable, that's the next one.